back to another episode of Cut the Bullshit, guys. I got a little button now. If you hear this, it's just, that's gonna be for things you need to remember. So just let that get stuck in your head. But on this episode, guys, we're gonna talk about relationships, living life in the streets, and you know, how women and males, we view everything differently in the eyes of the other. So let's get into it and have some fun with it. So I found out that you can smoke on YouTube now. So my stoner ass, this is great. But anyways, guys, happy Saturday. It's a Saturday. I never film on a Saturday. It's a muggy Saturday. In the state of California right now, the weather is going through it. It's like bipolar. I think Mother Nature, she's going through her time of the month right now. But speaking of time of the month, I wanted to get in the topic of talking about men and women and not knowing the game of relationships, you know? So me, what I do in the industry that I work in, I work around a lot of strong-willed, smart women, independent women, you know, women who can see like right through men, you know, just see like the facade of whatever it is. I don't know. And it's just a select few of women. But then again, I could be wrong because I hear some situations and I don't understand how women put themselves in some situations. So we're going to focus on that for a second. But let me reiterate this. Don't ever think I'm targeting one gender. Don't ever think I'm targeting one group ever. I try and talk about everything, but I would say the biggest flaws that I see in a lot of women is honestly benefit of the doubt, gullible enough to believe certain things. And I'm speaking this from experience, and now I'm going to tell a story of how I got played. It's a very sad story. And honestly, you're probably going to look at me and be like, Key, what were you thinking? You didn't see the red flags? No, I didn't, because I was 17 years old. So this is what happened, right? 17 years old, just got my heart broken day after Christmas. That was shitty because I think that my Christmas gifts for that person were freaking amazing, and they just, yeah, I was so ticked off, right? And you know what's so crazy is the time that they broke up with me, there was like a whole ass like hostage situation going on my street. Like it was like right across. My stepmom, she like came in the house and she's like, Kiki, come outside with me. And I was like, why? You know, so like why? It was like 12 o'clock at night or like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, why do you want me to go outside? She's like, I think that there's like something's going on with somebody. Like she heard screaming. And I was like, okay. And like my dad wasn't home or anything, so she just wanted someone to go outside with her. And I went outside with her, and we're sitting there, and I kid you not, like 9 cop cars, at least 4 cops to a car, so I don't know how much that is. Street is lined, they got a spotlight, choppers going. We're like, what the hell is going on? Turns out it wasn't really a hostage situation. It was very exaggerated. Neighbors, I think, called the cops, and like it was just, they were just having a conversation inside. Apparently didn't know the cops were outside. I don't know how you don't see like 9 cop cars pull up, especially in the area that I was living in. Like it's a little weird to see 9 cop cars pull up. So it was just a crazy situation, right? Next day, or like that night, I'm literally standing outside just on my phone about to record and text the person that I was with, and they're like, hey, like I don't really think this is gonna work out. I'm in love with my ex. You know, that was great to hear. Being a woman and hearing that a man is in love with their, I mean, it sucks for anybody, but it really did kind of mess with my ego, I'm not gonna lie. And so I just went into like this whole like depressive ass state, deleted social media, everything, whatever, right? At the time, I was working for fast food. So for the most part, I was always working, like I was always busy. So I kept myself busy for like the next 3 months. And it was like, I think right before my birthday. So like in February of 2018. No, February of 2019, because I was just about to turn 18. I'm at work, right? And at this job, like we had to go outside sometimes. And so my manager is like, hey, I need you to go outside, do this, da-da. I was like, all right, sure, I can do that. I'm walking outside. I see this guy, and he's with a couple of friends, and he's got a baby on his hip. And I'm like, okay, that's your kid, for sure. I was wrong, which I was thankful that I was wrong. But anyways, not really. I'll continue with that. So talk to him, and he walks up to me, and he's like, wow, you are so fucking beautiful, you know? Right then and there, me, like now, I laugh at stuff like that. You know, if a guy just walks up to me and he's like, I just want to let you know, like, you're one of the prettiest girls. Like, that's basically what he said. He's like, you know, you're so fucking beautiful. Like, you're one of the prettiest women I've ever seen. Now, I'm like, ha! You're trying to run game on me. Like, you're lying. Like, I know you said that to the last chick, you know? Especially the industry I'm in. Like, in the club, these men think that we're so dumb. And they just, they're like, you're the beautiful, like, the most beautiful girl, like, in here. You know? They're like, you are just so, like, most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I was like, I know for a fact that you told my homegirl Diamond that, like, 2 seconds ago. Don't fucking lie to me. Don't fucking lie to me. You can't lie to me. But at the time, I was 17 years old. So, gullible and just got out of a relationship. So, I was vulnerable and he knew that. So, gave him my number or whatever. I'm like, oh, this 23-year-old man just tried to get my number and I gave it to him. But let me tell y'all this. 17 years old, I'm still living in my parents' house. Well, not obviously. My dad met him and he okayed it. But then again, my dad just put a lot of trust in his daughter. And I will say at 17 years old, Dad, if you ever watch this, you never should have put that trust in me. Because I was gullible. And so I start talking to him. Everything's going great, right? He has this job. I'm laughing at myself. Please hold on. He has this great job as a fireman. And I'm like, wow, I'm 17 years old dating a 23-year-old fireman. Go me, right? The whole time, like, we're vibing. Met his family. I went over for dinner, you know, came to watch movies. Yada, yada, yada. We had great times. You know, first date took me, like, to the river, and, like, it was, like, a cliff, and it overlooked the river, and, like, you know, he gave me flowers and asked me to be his girlfriend, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is the cutest thing in the world. This man was running real life stupid game. Like, stupid, not as in, like, oh, he was going stupid. Like, stupid as in, like, it was so stupid. It was so stupid. Just remember, if a man, oh my gosh, it was so dumb. But anyways, so, asked me to be his girlfriend. Everything's going good, right? And this is where I'm laughing. And I want y'all to remember that I said that was so stupid, because this is what was stupid. The man ignores me for a day. Text me, oh, I don't know, some bullshit. Like, he was like, oh, I had to do, man, what the hell did he say? Because now that I'm thinking about it, it was so stupid. It was dumb. But he basically was saying how, like, he had, like, a really busy day and couldn't text me, right? Let me say, for anybody, women or male, if someone doesn't have time to take 2 seconds out of their day to send you a simple text, even to let them know, like, hey, I'm gonna be busy today, I can't talk to you, you know, or, you know, I'm gonna talk to you later, or I'm gonna be busy, like, all day, and then I'm gonna come home and sleep. Like, really, like, idealistically, it would be easier for me to talk to you tomorrow. You know, I hope you have a wonderful day, I'll talk to you later. You know, if you're at that level, I love you, da-da-da, miss you, whatever, right? You need that. Don't ever think that someone ignoring you all day and then calling you the next day, mind you, okay, so ignore me all day, like a whole day, like a whole 24 hours, and then ignore me for, like, 16 more hours, and then wants to call me, what are you doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? All right. And at the time, I was 17 years old. So, you know, I'm sitting there like, what is he doing? Da-da-da. He's not texting me, blah, 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 blah. I miss him, da-da-da. I still mess with him, whatever. And so I'm like, I'm trying to work it out and everything. And, you know, he's all like, hey, like, you know, you want to go do this and this? And I'm like, sure, like, whatever. You know, he made up for it. Bought me flowers, whatever the fuck. So, after that, things were, like, kind of weird for a while. And I was like, all right, I don't know, something sus is going on here. 17, didn't really want to believe myself. And 2, I realized to, like, realize things like this, on God, you have to trust in yourself. So, if you don't trust, like, your own, you know, like, not, like, your own gut, you know, you kind of doubt yourself all the time, that's not trusting yourself. You know, you don't trust that you, and I learned this, I kid you not, in the last, like, 6 months, and I'm still trying to learn it. I'm still trying to trust in myself, because no matter what, I believe, like, no matter how much you think that you love yourself, you can always love yourself at the end of the day. Way more than you could ever love anybody else. Because you can't love other people properly until you learn to truly love yourself. And you don't get the proper love unless you truly love yourself. Because, you know, like, with this, like, not going completely off track, because I am one of those people that will go completely off track. But not to say, how do I word this? Not to say that you don't don't really love yourself completely, like, no matter what, but I think at the end of the day that we can love ourselves to an endless measure. And we have so much, us as people have so much power in ourselves. And people like that person that I was with, I allowed to give them the idea that they had conquered my power, because inevitably it was my fault. Like, I allowed them to put so much weight on me. I allowed myself to answer that call 2 days later, basically, after being ignored. Like, what? Even at 17 years old, I had a good head on my shoulders, I believe. You know, and I still think that I have a good head on my shoulders, like, I do have to this day. And it's gotten so much better because I learned from that experience. And basically, by the end of that, to run down the story really quick before I continue, I was lied to the whole entire time about his occupation, about events that had happened in his life, about his lifestyle that he truly lived. Everything. I was lied to about all of it. But I sat there and believed that, because I also sat there and waited for a phone call for like almost 40 hours. So I would take on a lot more bullshit than I already was. And without loving myself, it's so crazy because we project so much of ourselves and we use other people as a mirror. So it's like a reflection, right? I was begging myself to love me. There's a part of me that was begging the other part that had no trust in myself, had doubt, was like, please, 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 you gotta love yourself a little bit more. I was begging this person to love me. Now, if you look at it a different way, and at the end of every day, if you looked at yourself in the mirror and reflected on what had happened through the day, gone over and processed emotions, because sometimes stuff happens and you really just have, like, this happened to me, and I really just had to be like, all right, no sitting there, no nothing, like no willowing and wallowing and crying, like nothing like that. Like, I had done that already for 3 months, and I didn't want to do it for another 3 because I love that hard and I love that deep. But it really wasn't that deep because I wasn't loving myself. And I took a lot of bullshit, and I took a lot of abuse, like mental. Me as a person, let's all keep it real. Cut the bullshit. I'm not getting hands put on me by anybody. That would never happen. My daddy raised me so much better than that. But when it came to verbal abuse, I took a lot of bullshit because I said that shit to myself in my head. Like, that's how hard it is to be human. It ain't easy, and nobody said that it would. That's like one of my favorite quotes. And like, I knew that whenever like I had got my heart broken the first time at a young age. And I knew, like, you know, breakup's not gonna be easy, and getting over this isn't gonna be easy at the end of the day. But, you know, at times, did I want to give up, and did I feel like I deserved that? Absolutely. Why? Because I wasn't seeing something in myself. And I was too terrified to see something in myself. Because I knew, and a part of me knew, like, hey, like, you could really do this. But we always have, like, little consciences. That's why we have a conscience. But sometimes, like, not multiple personality or nothing like that, but we really just have, like, other voices in our heads, you know, nothing crazy or anything, but it's like we have other opinions, you know, and honestly, it's our heart, our soul, and our mind. All 3 of them will tell you different things, and your body, all 4 of them. They will all tell you different things, you know. Maybe your heart feels like, hey, we don't deserve this, we don't need this, anything like that, you know, like, we deserve so much better. We've gone through so much. But your mind is thinking like, I mean, if we put up with it a little bit longer, you know, maybe he'll change. Maybe this will get better if we just sit back and allow it. Allow something to happen to us that has is nothing good. You should the only thing that you should do that you don't want to do are things that are going to benefit your life. You know, like, okay, you're in a depressive state and, you know, your whole house is freaking messy. And, you know, you either lay down and do what you don't want to do and clean your house, and your life doesn't get better. It just gets messier. You go into a more depressive state. You start to feel more overwhelmed. Or you get up and slowly just start picking up everything red. You start picking up all the dishes. You start picking up all your clothes. You start picking up, I mean, that's how I clean. Like, if a room is very messy, clean by color. Just, I don't know, color, category, whatever. It makes it a lot easier. Back to what I was saying. If you do things that you don't want to do and they're not benefiting your life, you're adding so much into your darkness. And that's what a lot of people do in a relationship. And that's why they can't get out of it. Like, I know so many women who go through so much bullshit with their baby daddies because they have a child with them. And I 100% get that, because that happened in my life. My parents had to do that. My parents stayed together solely so that they could keep their family together, even though that wasn't a family. And women go through so much. And even before a baby is there, they're still getting like cheated on, and they're still getting verbally abused, and I can't say that shit's easy to get out of, especially if you're being physically abused, especially if they stalk you, you know, especially if they have so much power over you and have manipulated your mind, gaslighted you the whole entire relationship. Like, I get it. I understand that shit is so hard to get out of. But if you recognize that shit early, and if you take a moment and step away and love your fucking self, woman to woman, as a woman, that means everything. That changes the whole game, because women get played so much more because men run so much game. And remember this, majority of narcissists, it is men. Like, it's men. And it's unfortunate there's narcissistic women, but a lot of them are narcissists, and they know what they do to women, and they don't care. They really don't care. So us as women, we have to stand up for ourselves, right? And my way of standing up for myself was learning game after that had happened to me. After that, I started dating his, not really friend, but they went to high school together. They knew each other. I started dating that, and that was so much freaking worse. And to this day, does it affect me? Absolutely. Did it change me as a person? Absolutely. It's what started me on my interest into women. Leaving that relationship got my interest into women like so much deeper. Like, I had already been with women, you know, done things with women and everything like that, but that just like totally changed my mind. And I was like, wow, like, men are just, like, I can't, like, it changed my whole idea on men in general for a moment. I wasn't a man hater at all, but it was just like, wow, like, what I was attracting. Went to women. It didn't work out that well, you know, it just didn't. And within a toxic relationship after relationship, and I sat there and like I realized so much of what was going on, and it was because I was not loving myself. I wasn't putting my faith in anything. I wasn't putting my faith in myself. Like, I had so much self-doubt, so much like no self-love. I was self-conscious, I was insecure, everything. Like, cut the bullshit, you know? And people may look at me and think like, no, like, there's not one insecure. I'm a woman, like, you know, like, I'm a woman. There may not be anything on my body that I may be insecure about, but in my mind, absolutely. And that affects my relationships. That affected what, like, I would believe anything any man said to me, because I wanted to be loved so bad, because I wanted the attention so freaking bad. And that's real shit. Every woman at some point falls into a trap because they need that love so bad, or they need that touch, you know? And that's why sex falls under, like, a lot of relationships. People have sex and get into a relationship, and that is the number one reason you don't get into a relationship at all. Sex has its good and its bad, just like everything has its good and bad. Even us as people, we have our good and we have our bad. We have, you know, our flaws, and we have the characteristics that make us the people that we are, but our flaws are still there. It's like, it's not a shadow at all. I love that. I love people's flaws, and I love that us as humans, we make mistakes, and we're always going to make mistakes on how we love ourselves. We're always going to make mistakes on, you know, learning what we deserve. So with women, it's so hard for us, because through society, generations, it's a generational thing, honestly. Like, some women think it's okay to be, you know, for a man to hit her. Baby, it is never okay for a grown man to, nothing. No man, there is nothing will ever fall under the, why men should beat women. No. In all honesty, if you put your hands on a man, you deserve to get hit like a man. I'm just gonna say that right now. Remember that. Because a lot of women put themselves in sticky situations and then flip the script. That's why I say it's not just men. I have seen women do some crazy ass shit, and I'm like, oh my God, you're psychotic. And men too don't pay attention because they don't love themselves enough. They think they deserve a woman who's up their ass all the time, but hey, she be throwing it back, right? She got a fat ass, she got some nice titties, you know, but you deserve like a chaotic, insecure woman? Why? No, she needs to go love herself and you need to go love yourself. You don't need nobody to love you. Like, come on now. And the crazy thing is I went through relationship after relationship, and that was because I was scared to be alone. I was scared to try and love myself alone. Like, I felt like I needed somebody to be like an example of how I should love myself. And the examples that I was getting of how I wanted to love myself was exactly how I was loving myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was with insecure people. I was with, I was with people who were so miserable with themselves that they wanted to take me, a diamond, and I know that, and they wanted to break me down so badly. Like, they wanted to make me out to something that I wasn't, like that, basically. But sometimes you have to go through these things to realize something. Okay? And that's even like your darkest like relationships, your darkest things. Because I know a lot of people go through a lot of stuff in relationships. Because what's done to us isn't as worse as what we can do to ourselves. And you gotta understand that, because you control your whole world. Like, I have seen people go through like the worst things. An example, I'm actually reading this book, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Read up about David Goggins. If you don't know who he is, read his story, because that man ate dinner with the devil. Like, sat at rock bottom on that floor, everything burning, sat there and ate dinner with the devil. You know, went through terrible things. And there's people who have gone through worse things. And, you know, never look at anything like that. Like, look at it as we all go through certain things and it affects us a certain way. Don't ever feel like, you know, someone else tells a story like, oh, well, you know, you can look at it and be like, my story's not that bad, but it's still affecting me in the same way. You know, it's okay to just understand people's stories, but also realize like you went through some shitty things too, right? And to me, I look at this and I'm like, wow, he did have a worse life than me, but it affects people in every different way. And he was a strong enough person to push through that and go through it. Like, he went through abuse, you know, he went through, you know, he gained weight himself. He had like terrible self-image. He was insecure. Through his abuse, you know, he had to learn how to love himself again and learn everything and all of that stuff. And slowly, like, holding yourself accountable and realizing like, hey, I did allow certain things in relationships that I didn't deserve. That's what you have to do. Woman or man, female or male, you have to recognize what you've done in a relationship that affects other people negatively and toxically. And you also have to realize like what you bring to the table. Because a lot of people going through relationships with like anyone who's narcissistic or someone who like blames them all the time, you know, like someone who's very manipulative and can flip the script and basically makes it seem like it's all your fault. You have to like, you gotta reverse that. You know, you gotta recognize that stuff. And sometimes we allow that. You know, we allow for ourselves to be manipulated. We allow for ourselves because we're so blindsided by the fact that we just want love. We just want it to work. I don't care if I'm abused every day. I don't care if I go through this bullshit every day. This is in game. This is how I want it to be. You gotta learn to walk the fuck away. You gotta learn to walk away. Stop giving people the benefit of the doubt. And as women, we do that because we, in society especially, you know, masculinity is like a huge thing. There's toxic masculinity and there is very healthy masculinity. I have met like even straight men, not just gay, straight men who are very like respectable and, you know, acknowledgeable of what women go through and acknowledgeable of like that what they do to women really affects them, because society does not like women. Like, it's just like, you know, society does not like the minority. It really doesn't. And that's the unfortunate part. So us as women, we had to learn how to stand up for stuff. And we have to stand up to this, whatever society has set or anything like that. We have to stand up and not take bullshit. Like, at the end of the day, no one's going to come in and save you like a freaking knight in shining armor. It's not going to happen. You have to recognize and be like, yo, the way you talk to me and how you fucking disrespect me, I don't deserve it. I don't. There's no reason that you should take any disrespect from anybody. Don't take bullshit from anybody. That's my thing, is I just learned, like, it's not worth it. Like, a pretty face, not worth disrespect. Good sex, not worth disrespect. Buying me things, not worth disrespect. Because first of all, ladies, do not rely on a man for money, for an income, for anything until, not even if he puts his finger on, like, not on you. He better not. Puts a ring on your finger. Don't, like, even then, they just be trying to do that so that they can overpower you. You gotta learn that if you don't trust yourself, you'll never truly, like, trust anybody else. And, like, there's a lot of situations, like I said, like, I put myself in a lot of situations I'm talking about, like, right now, because I wanted to be loved so freaking bad. But through love is so, it blinds you so, yeah. Love really alters your reality, the truth about people. I'll say that. The reality, yeah, the truth about people. It really blindsides you. And there's been so many times that I should have already been walked away, but I wanted to stand there and be like, this person can change. Because they told me that they would. But their words weren't following their actions. And every single time I put myself deeper and deeper into a pit of, I was just lost. Like, it was a pit because I was just digging myself a hole. Because, okay, another day of this, another day of this, another day of hearing this, another day of hearing this. For the longest time, I thought everything was my fault. Like, because I allowed that and because I thought that. Not because anybody told me that. But they would give me the idea of that, you know, like, and sometimes I would be told that, but there was no reason for me, about myself, knowing that it wasn't my fault, knowing that I didn't deserve to be talked to or treated like that. I still went and was like, yeah, everything's my fault because I allowed that. It's so simple, and I get that we go through things, but everything that we go through is so, it's all in our mental, and a lot of women can be so weak-minded because they've been beaten down by life. And it's just same as men. But it's unfortunate because I say of like what women have gone through over centuries, you know, like what we are is just, we take care of the house, we take care of the cubs, you know, we cook dinner, and some people still live to that standard, and they believe, you know, you do that and, you know, your man can treat you however he wants. There's not a lot of women who are CEOs. There's not a lot of women who are boss. Like, back now, oh, women, we conquering it. We doing great. But I see some beautiful women, some women with so much to offer, to bring to the table, that deal with so much bullshit because they think that they love themselves. You know, they think they have this image of themselves that is so, oh yeah, I love it. You know, I'm fine with this. And then you hear like all the things they go through, like women who are so beautiful get used for their bodies and they know it. Like, come on now. And they put up with it because at least somebody's touching them. At least somebody's loving them. You know, at least they're getting some type of attention. Anything like that. And it pains me to see myself how I was before. Because I could have avoided so much if I just would have realized in that split second, like, hey, you gotta stop trying to like make, like, other people's love for myself is what I wanted to go based off of. You know, like, I don't know how to love myself. So instead of going and taking time to figure it out, I wanted to see how other people would love me. And I did start loving myself, how other people were loving me, because I was this bright little light, and I would get with people who are so insecure, and they would try and dim that down, but they wouldn't know that they are, because that's just the universe, that's just life, that's just God, if you believe in that, telling you like, this isn't your person. They don't get you, they really don't, and you know that, but you're sitting here taking it because the sex is good, because they buy you things. I mean, and sometimes they don't even be good like that, you know? It just be the company, and I get it, like the comfortability, I get it, but at the end of the day, baby, you gotta stop getting it. You know, you gotta stop putting up with that, all because you're missing something of yourself. I didn't even have to, like, it doesn't take long to love yourself if you can break down the mental barrier up here. You know, it doesn't take long. Even if you are upset with your weight in your body, right? So the book that I'm reading, and this is how I felt. Got some Scooby snacks. This is how I felt, you know, about like myself, and I have a hard time, you know, real shit, discrediting myself. I know a lot of people who struggle with that too. Not giving myself enough credit, and not realizing like how much I should be proud of myself, how much I should love myself, and how much I should recognize that I've gone through. How much everything that I've gone through has made me into a beautiful person, right? And in this book, he has what's called, like, I think it's like the acknowledgement mirror or something like that. And basically, you know, you sit in front of the mirror and you recognize everything that you've not gone through, but you just recognize like real shit. Like, stop wasting time. Stop, you know, if you're sitting there like, I know I don't deserve it. I know I don't deserve it, like, to go through that. But like, you know, they just do this for me. Stand in that fucking mirror and recognize anything that someone can do for you, you can do for yourself tenfold. Recognize that now. Don't just sit there and wait to realize that and be like, in time I'll figure it out. But like right now I don't want to. Because you said that, you don't. And you won't. Women really know what they go through. No, they don't deserve it. But just that little bit of good outweighs that whole lot of bad. And that's how fucked up society has made us, generations have made us, you know, and that's how, what women and men, that's just what we go through in life. And that's how fucked up life can be as a fucking human. But at the end of the fucking day, you can't blame life, the things that happen in life, because it's life. You can't sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, this happened to me, so I gotta, and again, these are things that I've had to learn. And I love learning them, because you know what? Once you realize these things, you become a completely different person and you become unstoppable, you know? Like, people walk up to me, and before I would believe anything. And one, like, my excuses for reasons I would fall in love with certain people or get in relationships with certain people is because I had, you know, a bad example. But at the end of the day, if that was a bad example, why wouldn't I just fucking learn from it, you know? And so I did. Like, I stopped hating on myself. I stopped sitting there in pity and, you know, just pitying myself. And you have to stop doing that in certain aspects of your life, you know, like even just like as moms, like there's so many, and you could do anything you set your mind to. There's so many women that I know who have had to leave relationships and needed to, but they stayed there all because they wanted to block out reality and create this facade that, you know, one day it'll be a perfect family. You gotta walk away for you and your babies at the end of the day. At the end of the day. And I watched that. That coming from experience. I watched it as a daughter. And that's unfortunate. You know, and it was, you know, my mother figure being mistreated and not being properly taken care of. You know, and also my father figure not loving himself enough, you know, and that is what makes it so difficult for me, you know. It's generational stuff. That's why I talk so much about childhood trauma, because at the end of the day, it does affect majority of what we do as an adult and what we have up here, it affects our mental. And sometimes we create this mental barrier because when we were younger, that's what we had to do. So in relationships, you reflect a lot on your mother and your father figure, whoever was your parent. And if you didn't really have a good example, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And usually you go off the deep end first, but you gotta find something to climb back up. I'm sorry, like you just gotta get yourself out of that pit. But I had to realize that for a long time. And finally, like after 2 years in a toxic relationship, I realized what was going on. I realized that I was only some of the problem. I owned up to what I did wrong. I owned up to my toxicity. I owned up to letting myself, fall into this relationship with someone I really didn't want to be with because I wanted to be loved. And I had to realize that. There's no excuse there's no excuse. You did, and that's okay. No one's saying it's bad. Acknowledging things is not bad. Honestly, it's actually good. You should acknowledge what has happened to you. You should acknowledge what mistakes you have made. So if you recognize that you don't love yourself in any goddamn way, do not expect someone else to treat you or love you any better than you treat and love yourself. You can't sit in that false reality. Come on now. Wake up. Good morning. Hello. Wake up. Realize that these things that are happening to you, they're not okay. You don't deserve them. You can love yourself better than anybody else can. And it takes time. I get that. But once you break down the mental barrier and stop telling yourself, I can't do this. I can't do this without them. I can't do this on my own. I hate myself. This. It's not going to get any better. And as women, I understand how hard that is. And for males, I can't because I'm not a male. But for women, I get it. It's a battle that we battle at the end of the day. And we go through so much bullshit because we think we deserve something because mommy and daddy treated us this way. Grandma and grandpa, whatever. We went through stories. But someday you have to grow up, acknowledge that shit, and take life by the motherfucking balls and start making your reality. Because we live in such a false reality and not what's true. And we never really live in the present. A lot of people live in the past because of what has happened to them in the past, and they use it for excuses for the future. You can't do that anymore. So in relationships, your past relationships and what you've gone through, you gotta let that shit go and just learn from it. And don't fall back in the same pattern. You go from one abusive relationship, don't go into another. You go into another toxic relationship, don't go into another. Because it's just a reflection of that you have not truly figured out yourself. You haven't loved yourself enough. You haven't sat there and really went over what makes you a toxic person and all of your flaws. So for the main focus, a lot of women get manipulated by men who didn't have a very good father figure. And that's facts. It's just like, women not having a very good father figure or a mother figure, or just not seeing a very healthy relationship. Like it all usually reflects back. And sometimes we meet men who have gone through things, and women, and they've learned from watching mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like someone sees that their dad abused their mom their whole life. Instead of, and they may be an angry kid, but they recognize it, they acknowledge it. And they're like, yeah, like I realized, when I was 16 years old that I was kind of an angry child and I wanted to change that. And they did, and then now they don't. They said, I'll never put my dad did that to my mom and I would never put my hands on a woman ever, They don't use an excuse. Well, my daddy put my, there's two people. Oh, there's this analogy. I love those. And it's these two sons, and they both have an alcoholic and abusive dad. One of them, or an addictive, whatever. It's like, the worst father. Treated his mom like shit. Treated them like shit. Was addicted to drugs, alcoholic, all that. One of them followed the path. The other one went the total opposite way, became successful in life, treated his wife good, had amazing children. They all it was just an example, like a little example. And it's because that man the son that fell under his father's footsteps, he used it as an excuse. The other one used it as a stepping stone for his story, And I talk about relationships only because we're human, and we want to have a partner. We want to have a life partner. Everyone wants a mate, you know? Everyone wants someone to, and if you don't, that's okay. You know, if you don't vibe with people like that, but at the end of the day, majority of us would like to end up with somebody and we want to fall in love so quickly. And we go through so much bullshit as women. Like there's so much shit I just hear, like so much game, you know, like men can just tell a woman that she's beautiful and she'll drop her drawers. And that's same with men. You know, like you can slide, a man will be texting you the second that you text him back and it's like, what are you doing? Nothing, can I come pick you up? You know, done deal. But when it comes to relationships, y'all can't be stupid and let sex start a relationship. Like that shit don't work. It never will. And it don't matter how good it is. Trust me, it's not the reason that you start a relationship. And I don't know where this like whole, I don't know how, okay, I get that people are attractive and look good, but sometimes whenever men be talking and trying to run game, I don't get it like at all how easy it is for women to just fall for that shit. Because sometimes I be looking at it and I'm like, what the fuck? And two, just like getting with someone or having sex with someone over their clout or their status in society, whether they're a celebrity or blue check demon, if they're a blue check demon, how dare you? How dare, like, calm down. It is not that serious. I really don't get it. I can't honestly say that I get that. Because I never will. Because community dick is a thing. I'm just going to say that. And y'all be falling for it. And the game don't even be that cool. Like, I remember this one time, my homeboy, we went to, at the time I was working with him, and at the end of the day, a beautiful person or attractive person, especially like male to female platonic relationships, there's always going to be like, of course, a try just to see if it could ever happen, you know, and it may be one-sided or not. Basically, they tried to run game on me and try to get me to pay for their food, and I didn't. I think I ended up getting my food paid for because, like, I'm not, you can't trick me. I'm not trick. You can't trick me. And so they're basically like, you know, nah, I can never, you know, I can never really fuck with you. You know, I can never be with, I couldn't do it. Like, not even fuck with you, like, even on some sneaky leak shit. Like, friends of bitch shit. Like, it just wouldn't happen. Because I didn't allow myself to be so stupid. Like, I didn't allow myself to think at the end of the day, I'm going to get something out of it. Like, even whenever, like, I go out to, like, it's so weird. Whenever I go out to, like, eat or anything, like, yeah. Whew, it's just crazy to me how do I put this? Women will believe a lot of bullshit just so that they could get any type of love. And it really is, at the end of the day, you don't love yourself. Like, I hear men spit game often enough to where I just started listening to that shit. You know, like, they would try and spit it to me, and I would realize what would make, you know, lay down. Lay down. You don't need to lay down. Max, lay down. No, you're not getting out. Oh my God. Lay down. Lay down. Just lay down. I don't need you moving around. You can hear that shit. I knew he stood up. I have stuff on the bottom of my feet. I think I got it. I was talking about running game. I hear them run game often enough. I was just listening to them. Yeah. Yeah. That's where I was at.
Eating. You were not eating.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I went, wait. Is that where I was at? I went out eating? Wait, didn't I? Wait. Hold on. No, because now I'm trying to think where I was going with that then, because I already talked about when I went out eating and I got them to pay for my food.
And then you went into women will believe game just because they want to feel loved.
Yeah. Just because I want to feel loved. Oh, or touched anyway. I feel like I was going somewhere else with that, but I guess not. I don't know. I'm high.
You don't hear it?
Yeah. Because I feel like I was going somewhere good with that. Whatever, don't blink at me like that. That's why you got eye boogies. I talk about relationships only because we're human and we want to have how do I put this? Women will believe a lot of bullshit just so that they could get any type of love. And it really is, at the end of the day, you don't love yourself. Like I hear men spit game often enough to where I just started listening to that shit. You know, like they would try and spit it to me and I would realize what would make, you know, lay down. Big yawn. What would make like women fall for it, I guess. And it wasn't so that I could go use it on women. It was just so that I didn't get that shit done to me. It was just so that I would realize it. Like, there would just be, and it's so stupid. Like, whenever I look at it, and even men, like, you know that woman mooching off of you. Why you with that woman? You know that woman mooching off you. Why you with that woman? What's wrong with you? What, for some coochie? Chill out. Coochie ain't that good. I know that. It cannot be that good. Because y'all, never mind. You know what? Let me not say that. But nah, cut the bullshit. Y'all will fuck anything. It's true. It's honestly true. Some majority of the part. It's really hard to find a male that like it's hard today's society, I think, because women are creating the bodies of what they imagined, and I get it. Men will be men. Let's be real here. But a lot of people just aren't sapiosexuals, and that's what, see that right there? That blows my mind, because how can you just be attracted to somebody's like facial features and body, but like their mind be so dumb? Like, bros really just be like walking up to females and just be having a nice car, or like they just like say anything. Like they'll say like, you know, like, I'll treat you better than any of y'all, da da da. And it's like, all right, you know, like whatever, you know. And women will just fall into that, and it's like a word trap. And sometimes men can be good at it, I get it, but nah. And you gotta keep the player ways. To be honest with you, you gotta keep the player ways. I don't know why women are so scared to do that. You're not acting like a male. You're just like, you just get the game. Like, it's not that hard to see a person for who they really are. It's not that hard to see, like, whenever a dude ignores you for multiple, like, hours out of the day, don't talk to him anymore. If the date that he wants to take you on is to chill in his car and smoke, that is not a no. Like, that's not a date, baby. And you should not want to be with somebody like that. Anybody who off the bat is like mooching, and if they're like, you get into, I just don't understand it. Don't rush into anything too, and know when to walk away, and know for the better good. I don't care how far you are into it. If you start getting disrespected, treated wrong, if you have to even fucking repeat yourself, why do you repeat yourself? You told that cheating. Let's get into that. Hold on, because what the fuck? I don't understand that. How are you going to see someone cheat on you, have sex with somebody else? Okay, see it, have receipts, something like that, and continue to be with them. It does not make sense. Like that right there, that blows my mind. Because, first of all, sex is a deeper thing than people make it, but that's why people just throw their cootie cuckoo and they dang-a-lang everywhere. I get it. But, like, keep your dick and your coochie in your pants. I like the cooter thing, though. Did I say cooter cuckoo? Cooter cuckoo. Anyways. You gotta just recognize, like, sex is, it begins things that can be so toxic, all because like the energy that's there. But when having sex with somebody who's also like toxic, that's opening up like a whole other level. You know, that's gonna start affecting you. You're at that person's like energy on a different, you know, level, literally. And if the sex ain't good, y'all still be there when the sex isn't good. That, come on now. Nothing's good. They're verbally, physically. Sex ain't good. Sometimes the sex be good. They're verbally, physically abusing you. But, like, when the sex ain't good, that's automatically out right there. But when their mind ain't good, you know, whenever they're not love themselves, whenever they have self-doubt or anything like that, or, like, just falling in love with bums. You cannot fall in love with a bum. And recognize early whenever, like, you know, if they start to rush into something, you gotta be like, whoa, 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 hold the hell on, man. Why are you trying to do that? Like, women mean them, like, one way that men, I've realized, like, run game is, like, they really do try and rush that shit, like, hella quick. I'm talking hella quick. And that's what I'm saying, like, go to somebody's house when you first meet them, going into a car, like, that man better take you on some dates. And yes, he better pay for all of them. But you better reciprocate that shit. You know, if you want to take them to a nice restaurant and you're like, all right, you know, they took me on like 4 dates. I could take them onto a nice restaurant. You know, like, do stuff like that. Do not sit here and believe, like, let this man just hand you weed and smoke you out. Come on now. Get it together. You've got to realize that fucking bullshit. And to, like, never let a man, like, take your time. You know, like, don't drop anything for them. Don't ever drop anything for them. Don't drop, not like a job, but like your time. Don't drop anything for them. If you're doing something and they're like, you know, they ain't talk to you in a couple of hours and you just, hello? Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Like, no, put that phone down. You know, you can sit there and let it ring. If you know damn well, like, on social media, you know, they haven't talked to you like all day. No reason, no response, no text, no nothing. You know, they didn't tell you the day before, like, hey, I'm going to be hella busy, da-da-da. Nothing like that. And they just didn't talk to you. And then they hang up the phone and want to kick it with you at 2 a.m. At 2 a.m.? Come on now. You got to be smarter than that. And I've sat and I've heard guys, like, you know, even just hearing dudes talk to like other dudes, just the things that they say about women and like the things that they do, like it don't even be game for real. They just be giving you false promises and you just believe it because we want it so bad. And with men, it's just like they, for the most part, like I've met men who are like really dumb, you know, and like they have like, there's been women who are obviously talking to other guys and obviously are entertaining other men and they've just kind of sat there and wanted to be like number one, I guess. That is like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But then again, that's women. Oh my gosh. What is this? This is so sad. The streets ain't safe. You ain't safe in relationships. I don't know. It's a tough thing to really recognize because I can't even explain. You know, I wanted to try and explain game, but I really can't because I know it's just gonna go right over bitches' heads. In one ear, out the other. Like, there's no point. Y'all not gonna listen because y'all know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, then denial is one hell of a fucking thing and love will blind you. That is it. That's That's all I gotta say right there about that. But if you want to sit there and believe that old boy is gonna get his shit together, even though he been sitting on the couch, smoked like 3 woods, only kicks it with his homeboys all the time, never really has money in his pocket, can't really handle a job, but you believe that that's supposed to be your baby daddy? How am I gonna tell you anything? You ain't gonna listen to me. You think that man's gonna be your baby daddy? You ain't gonna listen to nobody. Like, I just be running into men too and seeing the women that they're with, and I'm like, baby, you are so beautiful. Why are you in this? I don't know who I'm talking to over here, but yeah, they're beautiful. And they with a stupid man. And I'm looking like, come on now. This man, all this man had to tell you was, you know what, like, for real, you're the only woman that I talk to. If you believe that, get out of there. If you believe that in the first like 2-3 weeks, because cut the bullshit. You hold on to them just like for like a little bit longer until you realize and you're like, all right, I could drop them. That's why like people be mad whenever they like drop whoever else they're talking to or fucking with, because like not fucking with like that. I mean, like if you having sex with multiple people, hey, that's on you. That's on you. That can't be me. But that's on you. That's getting too much tested. But then again, y'all don't be getting... Anyways. Anywho, y'all don't be getting tested. But, yeah, you just... just some of the bullshit that I hear and see. And like I said, like, you really, you know, just like, yeah, like, you know, for real, like, that's it. Like, you're all, you know, you're all I talk to. And I really, you know, I really fuck with you, and da-da-da-da. And like, you seeing them turn their phone and stuff, flip it over at the table. Either bring it up, trust your gut, and leave. Don't sit there and be like, nah, there's no way that he's doing that. Like, and even just like the phone ringing and he leave the room to go talk on the phone. He flipped the phone over. And some girls be like, who the fuck was that, you know? But then again, like, it don't be like that. Or he's like, oh yeah, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go, you know, I'm gonna go like kick it with my homeboys. Whatever. And there's so many times that like, I fell for it. That's what I'm saying. Is I fell for it. And then it's been acting hella weird. Like, you gotta recognize that shit and realize you don't deserve that. And if they cheat on you, fucking leave. That is not an up and down. Fucking leave. Holy shit. If they can have sex with somebody else, I couldn't even think about, like, if I was cheated on, somebody better look for bail. They better be on the website in my county looking for my name. Because if I ever got cheated on, I'm not beating the woman's or man's woman, or it would be a woman. Either way, for me. But I'm beating, well, yeah, woman or the man, because, yeah, go both ways. So I'm beating the man's ass if I'm with a man. I'm beating the woman's, because what? You cheating on me? You cheating on me? Actually, no, I'm gonna walk away. No, I'm not. I'm gonna beat that. I'm gonna slap him. I'm gonna slap him. Cut the bullshit. I'd slap him. Because what is wrong with you? But then I'd be like, all right, bye. I'm gonna walk out now. I deserve better than this. But I can't say that we really allow that as women, because some men really just be stupid. But in other situations, like I said, we do. Because then, you know, they come back and cry, oh, it was a mistake. Oh, I didn't mean to. Do unto others as you will want done unto you. Isn't that how that goes? I don't know. Ooh, a little high. But if someone treats you a certain way, where has being the bigger person got you? In a relationship, at least. Okay? Don't let everyone irritate you. But in a relationship, being like, yeah, I mean, like, do women, like, in your head, real shit, do y'all, like, who get back women who cheat, do y'all be in your head be like, yeah, like, he cheated on me and everything, but, like, you know, like, she wasn't even that pretty. Do y'all be thinking that? Because if that's the shit that goes through your head, and you're like, I mean, like, yeah, he cheated, but, like, she's such a gross, like, little, like, I don't know, she's just so ugly. Does that make you feel better about yourself? That you're with a man who cheated on someone that's, like, not as pretty as you? Does that make you feel good? No, it shouldn't at all. Because what the fuck? Like, your standards are just wrong. You can't sit there and take that bullshit for whatever reason and believe that that's ups and downs and believe that a man is going to change after they've already connected with someone on a whole different freaking level If they don't pick up the fucking phone, you don't text them a million times. If they don't call you back on the first couple of rings, I'm not saying to sit there and be like petty, you know, and not talk to them like all day. But I'm saying if they don't talk to you all day, don't sit there and believe that shit. Don't sit there and run back to that man. Don't sit there. If he fucks around with other females the first time, don't go running back. Y'all gotta stop being so dumb with that shit. Same with men, too. Okay? First of all, when y'all be getting at women, if that woman don't answer your DMs, leave. Okay? Get out. She's not interested. And wait until she is. I promise you, a woman who is interested, sure, women like to be chased, but if it goes above like 3 times, just stay out of there. Because you about to get yours. And like, 2... women do be having like little player ways, but we're more like secretive about it. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, women be having player ways, but we're just more like low key about it because we're sneaky, and that's why I can't talk about it. But that's in the sense of like you got to keep your player ways when you're going into something that you're still learning somebody, you know. And it's not to keep your hoes and all of that stuff, but it's just like, you know, recognize when someone goes back to their own player ways. You know, if someone starts acting like, not funky, but, you know, also too, you got to realize whenever someone like heart isn't in it, like their insecurities are getting above themselves. So that's the one way like some people do keep their player ways. But you just got to remember, never forget, you know, never forget whenever someone's trying to really like just run game on you and then start noticing when they do start acting funky. Recognize, you know, your player, do that. Like, that's a player thing, is doing somebody how they did you, you know, like, you know, now I did you how you did me and you mad. What? How does that make any sense? You got to keep that same thing, you know. So that's what I'm saying. If somebody ignores you for a whole day, don't pick up that fucking phone. Don't. That's not, to me, in all honesty, that's not being petty. That's not, because if you've already told that person, especially if you've already told that person, if you haven't told them and communicated like, yo, like you can't be going like you know, maybe they don't know that, but you shouldn't have to ask though at the same time. That's why this shit's so complicated, and I see how people get stuck in these loops and loops. I understand. You can't though, like, just, if you told someone something once and they chose not to listen, take that as disrespect. Like, you heard me, you know, especially if you had a serious sit down conversation and you're like, yo, I told you, you know, like, I'm gonna tell you this, like, I don't like that you did this, you know, can we work on that, or like something like that, you know, like, just don't do that again. It's not really, I didn't like that, it made me uncomfortable, you know, it made me feel some type of way, talk about the emotion, whatever, and they go and do it again. If you don't talk about it again. Don't talk about it again. You know, don't go and do something that they wouldn't do, but don't sit there and repeat yourself over and over and over again. And once they come to you and they're like, you know, why, what, yo, like, what's going on? Oh, well, like, you know, I had to repeat myself multiple times, and I'm not going to sit here and beg for you to change. I'm not going to sit here and beg for you to listen. I'm not going to waste my breath when I had to already tell you one time. It's being stern in what you believe, you know? It's being stern like, hey, like, you're choosing to do this. And if someone's going to sit there and act like they forget, go get your brain checked. I don't know. Do we need to go see a doctor? We can go talk to a doctor if you're having some memory loss. But if not, take that shit. Because if someone tells me something one time and is like, yo, I don't like that you do that, please don't do that. Like, for real. And if I do continue to do it, I am disrespecting them. And I have done that because I didn't care about that person. Do you see what I'm saying? Are we getting it? Are we getting it a little bit more? If someone's disrespecting you, what does that mean? They don't really care about you. Ding, 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 ding. Fucking don't take it. It don't matter. Don't take it. Like, I don't let my toes get stepped on. You can't. You really can't. You can't let someone feel like they have the one up on you. You can't sit there and believe everything that somebody says. Take majority of things that are done without action, take it with a grain of salt. Always. Until it's seen through with an action. If you sit down and have that conversation with somebody, and that's why you can't get mad about it. You know, you don't got to sit down and have a conversation about it. You know, if they just realize like, hey, I feel like the energy's a little off. You know, just keep your same way, but don't repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. There's no reason that you need to go back to something multiple times. Like someone cheats on you multiple times, you're going back and repeating yourself, begging them to change. Like, please, I beg. Like, last time you said it was going to change. Why was there a last time? Why are we having this conversation again? They heard you the first time. They don't care. And they are disrespecting you. Get it through your head. It's not that hard. It really isn't. And once you understand that, it becomes so much easier to start putting your trust in yourself and everything. Like, it becomes so much easier to recognize what you deserve. You know, some man can just walk up to you with, you know, money or give you like a compliment. I don't even know. Like, the game be weak. It'd be weak and y'all just get shaking and weak in the knees for it. Knowing that man like, come on now. Come on now. And if you want to sit there and get played, at least play him back. I mean, come on now. Have some fun with it. Don't sit there and be so stupid. So once male and female realize, like, hey, take accountability. And once you realize that, like, the things that you're allowing to happen, and once you recognize, like, yo, like, I do often allow people to walk all over me. I do often allow a certain type of male into my life. And I often try and fix people, you know, and it doesn't always work out. Once you recognize that, you can start to move on and you can start to heal. But you can't blame it on anybody else because you recognized it. How is anybody else's fault? How is anyone else going to change that for you? How is someone going to come in and love you when you do not love yourself? Self-love is the best love. And I told you, like, it's infinity. It can go so deep. You can love yourself more and more and more every day. And you can love yourself in a relationship, in your partner. And sometimes you do fall in the hands of people who are great for you. Let me just say that. That's where we're going to end this. You fall into the hands of people who are great for you and do realize something great in you. But that's when you have to take acknowledgement and accountability and be like, wow, I have made these mistakes in these past and these are flaws that I have. And you're taking time to sit here and not only, you know, help point them out for me, but sit there and grow with me. That's somebody. If you go to your partner and you tell them that you're struggling with self-love and you're like, I think I just need, you know, I want to love, like, learn to love myself. There's certain things that I have wrong, and you communicate that, they can better understand why you can be distant for a moment and why you're taking a step away from focusing so much on them because you're trying to love a part of yourself. And that will figure out if that person is your partner or not. Because if you start to better yourself and they don't start to like who you are, or they start to be weird, or they're like, you know, you're changing in a certain way, but you're feeling good about yourself, unfortunately, you have to let that person go to move on and grow and find something better for yourself. Stop sitting in something that you know you don't deserve. It's really that simple. Stop sitting in something you don't deserve. I really don't know what the game be that women be falling for, because it's all about action. Like, there should be no game. There should be action. If a man really wants you, he's going to do the action that you want. Like, if you want dates, to go out on dates, don't get in the car with the man who just wants to smoke you out. Don't. If you want to go on an actual dinner date, wait for that. Don't be desperate for that. Just sit there and be like, no, like, I'm good. I go on real dates. Like, I don't care how pretty you are. Like, I don't care none of that. If you just want to have a sneaky link, cool. But I'm talking about relationship-wise, because y'all be getting relationships with these men. And be falling in love with the good moments, but not realizing that they have bad. And it's bad that you're not going to like, and you know that. But you just want to deal with it. Like, the game be so weak. It'd be so weak. And just take and listen, because you can learn so much, and you can fall in the hands of somebody that's great for you. And they're going to try and change you. But until you take accountability and recognize that you don't love yourself enough, you don't have enough trust in yourself, there's so many, like, things that you got going on with yourself that you need to handle first, then you fall into the hands of a right partner. And that partner will begin to try and understand you while you're understanding yourself. And if they don't want to understand the true you, then just let that relationship go. At least you have yourself the whole time, and you love yourself. Every day do that. And like a challenge, like a cool thing that I like that book, man, like that book, David Goggins, I'm telling you, read about him. I literally I stood in my mirror and held myself accountable for the shit that I've allowed in my life because I wanted something so bad. And because I pitied myself. You gotta be real with yourself. Honestly, like, just be real with yourself. Stop creating a reality that you know will never be true. Stop believing somebody who's proven you. Like, if someone just like a man. If a man hits you once, he's gonna hit you again. Leave. If a man cheats once, he's gonna cheat again. Leave. And if he could do it once and he doesn't do it again, it doesn't matter. He did it once. So that means he's capable. Why would you want to be with someone who's capable of cheating on you? It don't make no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So, if you guys wanted to do the same thing, hold yourself accountable and write down Post-it notes and put them on your mirror. Serious. It's some crazy shit and it really works. And it helps with relationships too. Like, you have to like write and shit like stop believing, stop thinking that you deserve a certain type of treatment from people, write that down, write down things, maybe in your mind you've created this mental barrier of understanding of how beautiful you are and how strong that you are, but everyone else recognizes it. Talking from experience here. Everyone else recognizes it. You just got to break down that mental barrier. It's all up here. And once you can break down those mental barriers, you can learn to love yourself and learn to love other people so strong and so beautifully. Just take a minute to yourself, though. That's all you got to do. So try that challenge. Honestly, it's fun. I'll post more about it on my Instagram, so go and follow my Instagram. I always forget my Twitter. I'm pretty sure it's Black Widow with 2 Ks and 2 Ws. BLKK Widow W. Twitter. Yeah. Yeah, just go. Those are like premature and most active. So I'm actually going to soon. We'll bring hosts on the show. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and hit me on my Instagram. Will probably be the best way to message me. DM me on there if you're interested. You may have some good ideas. If you feel like maybe we could click and vibe and have a conversation, I really like to bring people on. It'll be kind of exciting, so look out for that. Look out for new updates. I'll be interacting with you guys so much. Continue to do interactions and make sure that you guys like and subscribe. And go ahead and share if you feel like somebody needs to hear this, because I imagine that a lot of fucking people need to hear this. So get your shit together. Love yourself, because individually we are all beautiful in some type of way. And I hope that you guys have a lovely, lovely day.
I feel the divide between you and I, like the distance between the dark.
Welcome back to That's exactly how it's gonna go. Meow 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 meow. Meow meow meow. Aww, she did that. Now it's all like and it's just no red line. I'm like, it's not I'd be confused on one side is fucked up. I'm like, wait a minute, if this side's fucked up, no, this side's fucked up, right? Okay, I think I'm gonna get the hang of this thing. See, these are the bloopers that matter. Okay. Gotta get in front of it to look, even my layers are growing out, so it kind of looks a little weird. I feel like this is such a weird way for it to be filmed. See? Nothing over there. Looks a little tampered with. Well, I didn't say it. Shit's good. Then we come back and I'm just they're like, okay. For sure. Oh yeah, 10 minutes. I see it. That's better for me to see where I need to sit. Go on to my very excited for this podcast. It's gonna be great. Mojo.